What's up, YouTube? I hope you're having a good quarantine. I'm trying something a bit different in this video. I am going to be laying out a bunch of my own business ideas for you to potentially steal. And this is something I have been doing kind of as an experiment in my weekly email for about the past 6 or 8 weeks or so. I'm basically doing this to practice building the idea muscle, coming up with unique ideas, because I feel like as somebody that has done a few different businesses now, it's easy to just kind of fall in the trap of an Amazon business or whatever else. And what I'm really trying to cultivate is coming up with novel ideas, things that are a little outside the box. So I've been just trying to jot these down whenever I possibly can and just start thinking about things a little bit differently. So these ideas totally vary in terms of how fleshed out they really are. Some I really think could be something, they've been on my list for months or years at this point. Some are just something I thought up and I haven't quite put all the pieces together, but it could potentially be something. And if you want to hear more of these ideas in the future, definitely sign up to that weekly email. It is not spammy. It is not just an email marketing type of newsletter. I try to put something together every week. Things I found, stuff I'm thinking about, things I like, just anything, and kind of creating an email that hopefully you'll enjoy reading. And you can sign up for that in the description below, or just go to mattloberstein.com/newsletter. I also want to say that this whole concept of coming up with ideas was inspired by the My First Million podcast put out by the guys from The Hustle. That podcast is my favorite business podcast right now. It's absolutely phenomenal. I think everyone should go listen to every episode they've done. It's seriously incredible. They just shoot the shit and come up with ideas, and it really inspired me to start doing the same. So that's what we're doing, and let's just get into my first idea. There's going to be 6 of them, so here's the first one. All right, so this first idea, I am very into watches. I've been into vintage watches for years, high-end sorts of watches. It's been a passion of mine forever. I have a video of my watch collection you can go check out if you want to. The idea is pretty much, why can you not finance a watch the way that you can finance, say, a car? For example, if you go into a regular store, you can buy something on a credit card. They might have a 12-month financing option, but if you're buying a car, you can get a six-year favorable loan, or a house, for example, a 30-year mortgage. But with these watches, a lot of times you lose less value in a watch than in a car. So why are there not these loans where you could finance a watch at a favorable rate over a long period of time, especially considering that the actual equity in the watch might go up? So it makes it less risk to the lender than even a car in a lot of cases, because the person still has the value. So for example, if you were buying a $30,000 vintage watch, right now your options are obviously pay cash, which is probably, the most wise for most people in most cases, or maybe put it on a credit card, or maybe if it's a dealer, they might have a 1-year sort of financing thing. But what if you could figure out a way to have a sort of title for the watch that then the lender owns the title and you own the watch, and you're paying, $500 a month or whatever that would work out to for $30K over the next 6 years. And maybe the watch is worth even more at the end of 6 years, making it low risk and allowing you to buy more watches. Or worst case scenario, you're just paying the loan the same way you would on a $30,000 car that is probably worth 10 by the time you're done with the loan. Next idea, I really like this one. I'm just going to read it exactly from the email. The idea: online farmers markets. Vendors list what they have regionally, and you pick whatever you want, like Postmates. Vendors typically go to a bunch of different markets on different days, so having one drop-off pickup location for weekly deliveries seems more than doable, actually less work for them, and of course way more accessible for consumers. Monetization: percentage taken on all orders and or recurring fee for vendors to be listed. Paid placements for featured products listings, vendors, specials, and a simplified version of the idea, just to test it out, would be Postmates for farmers markets, just simply doing deliveries and going around to the local farmers markets. So I love this idea as somebody that shops a lot at farmers markets. A ton of the food that I buy, it comes from farmers markets, and I think a way of bringing it online would be really cool and make it much more accessible for people that don't take the time to drive 20 minutes to go to a farmer's market and everything is in cash and stuff like that. What if you could just have all of the different markets? Say in Los Angeles, there's probably 20 different farmers markets. So what if all of those vendors could just list with the site, and there would be a way to kind of track what's available online and have that all round up for deliveries or for pickups? I think it would be great. And like I mentioned, I think this one can be monetized a lot of different ways. Like obviously you could just charge a percent fee, which is exactly what farmers markets do, by the way. They just let the vendors go, and then they take whatever percentage of the sales. So it could be that to some extent. You could have vendors pay to be, featured up at the top. You could even have your own products potentially worked into it somehow. There's a lot of different things you could do with a platform like this. This one I'm really excited with. So if anyone wants to build this with me or something, like I like the idea. Next idea, a badass brand of carnivore cat food. So I'm a new consumer in the space. I have a kitten who is almost 6 months old now and definitely not that tiny anymore. And cats are naturally carnivores. And a lot of the food on the market I'm finding, especially as somebody that myself cares a lot about paleo and eating really well-sourced food, like I just said with the farmer's market thing, there's not that great of options. I found some that I'm pretty happy about, but I think there's a lot of room to kind of take a aggressive sort of angle with this, because all the cat foods are just like frilly, and most of the wet foods have emulsifiers and a bunch of crap in it that is not animal meat that cats should be eating. And so I think going with like the carnivore angle, kind of like the carnivore diet for people, it's this like kind of brute force sort of thing. Like a cat is a wild, like meat ripping apart beast thing. And I think kind of playing into that with the marketing, with the packaging, with like the ingredients, think like Joe Rogan style, like elk and all this crazy stuff, and just open the can and there's like a whole fish raw that you just like dangle in front of your cat. I think this would be such a cool brand. Next idea, I was inspired from Reddit. So on Reddit there are bots. People build these bot user accounts that have functionality built in, like they're automated to be triggered to do things based on people leaving a certain comment and things like that. They can do things. So there's this one that's one of the most popular ones, is called Remind Me Bot, and you just type remind me exclamation point and then 2 weeks, for example, on any Reddit post publicly, and then it will ping you back at that time with a specific message or whatever you want to program the bot to do. So the idea that I had is, why does this not exist for Facebook or for Twitter or for any various social media platform? Because the closest thing you could really do is say, set a reminder in your phone, or you could save the post on Facebook, but then you just have this collection of things you never really go back to. But what if, say, somebody posted something really outlandish, like or not, or whatever, like I'm going to quit my job within the next three weeks. So what if it was, say, a Chrome extension, and you could just do like, remind me 3 weeks, did he actually quit his job? And then in 3 weeks you get pinged, and then you ask your friend, did you actually do it? Or maybe somebody is on Twitter said that they just put $1 trillion into Bitcoin because they're positive something's going to happen in the next 3.5 days. Remind me, tweet back at this person, how did it go? What happened? It could be used in a lot of different ways, because I think right now social media just gets kind of lost, and like we never dig up these things. Like somebody said this crazy story, what happened next? Follow up with this. I want to know like what's the update. I think it could be really interesting to kind of add some like chronological, like passing through time to social media instead of just all the ephemeral stuff. And this one, I don't know how you would really monetize. I mean, it's probably just kind of like one of those users and data plays, and you get acquired by Google and they sell all the information for billions of dollars. I don't know, something like that. I don't know. I don't like that, but like I don't have any other idea for it, but I still think it could be a really cool tool, and I'm sure that there's some way to turn it into something valuable. Next idea, this one's a concept for sure, not something I have completely fleshed out, but that's what I want to do here. The idea is that when houses are listed for sale on the market, they sit for months, often maybe a year plus in a lot of cases. And I was thinking just how that is such a dead value. That's just literally value that is completely lost to nothingness. And a lot of these times, these houses are staged, meaning they're like furnished for showings and for photos and all that stuff, meaning they're totally like a livable Airbnb, basically, that's just sitting there vacant. So the idea might be something like, how do you partner with realtors to get short-term rentals in and then schedule showings around that, or even do like discounted short-term rentals such that people know they might have to get out for 30 minutes or an hour for a showing from, between 2 and 3 p.m. They shouldn't be there, but they'll get the place at super cheap. Or maybe you literally just partner with the realtor to Airbnb out the place on specific days and take a percentage of the revenue, something like that. But there's clearly like probably $1 billion. I mean, I don't know what the active amount of real estate on the market is at any given time, but it's a lot. And that's probably tons of potential short-term rental or usage of some sort every single day that's just being wasted. And the last idea on the list, this one I freaking love. This was just this most recent email that went out. Sounds a little funny, but like bear with me for a second and let me explain. So the product is acid water. And I don't mean literally that kind of acid in water, but here's what I do mean is, you've probably seen like the crazy trend of, well, first of all, a ton of different really expensive bottled waters, right? Whether it's, whatever, but a big trend of that is alkaline water. And if you ask me, people that are kind of in this health space that I think the alkaline water trend is completely bunk. Like that is something I don't buy into at all. I think it's completely wrong. I think it's actually not only wrong, it's actually kind of the opposite of what you want. Having acid in your stomach is what helps you digest, which is proven by something I'll get to in a second. Another trend in drinks that has emerged in the last couple of years is apple cider vinegar drinks, or vinegar drinks in general. You've probably seen those Bragg ones. They're really good. And they're marketed as helping you with digestion, which they do help with. And the reason they help you with digestion is because vinegar is an acid. So if alkaline water can be so cool and trendy and have so much hype, then just think how crazy awesome marketing acid water would be. I mean, this could be such a fun branding play. It could be crazy, and you really have some health angles to go with and actual digestion benefits. And maybe it's vinegar, maybe it's some other sort of acidic something. I don't really know yet, but yeah, I think it would sound so cool. And I think as the trend will start to shift away from alkaline water, this would be like positioned perfectly ready for that. I'm definitely going to keep coming up with these ideas. Maybe I'll do another video in the future, but be sure to subscribe to my weekly email, where this is a section of it I've been doing every week lately. That, again, it's in the description, mattloberstein.com/newsletter. You can sign up and see what ideas I hopefully come up with in the coming weeks. And yeah, check out My First Million podcast. What those guys are doing is incredible. They also put out this service called Trends, which is a paid service, but it's incredible. I love it. I love their group and all of that. So I do have a link in the description for $100 off of that. It's one of the best paid membership thingies that I've ever joined, honestly. I really get a lot of value out of it, and the way that these guys just come up with ideas, I know it'll pay off huge someday. And super random, but I cut my own hair, and what a scam. Like, I'm gonna start doing this all the time. It looks exactly the same as all my other haircuts ever have. I can do it at home whenever I want. So I just ordered clippers and all that stuff, and yeah, like, save money, all that. I think maybe barbers are gonna go out of business or something. We'll have to see what happens with that. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of these ideas. I would seriously love to kind of keep the conversation going. If you guys have a different angle or think about it, throw in your ideas. We could keep this going in the Facebook group as well, whatever. But yeah, if you enjoyed, smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, hit that bell so you can be notified when I have new videos come out. Browse the channel. There's hundreds of videos at this point if you are new here for you to go and check out. Feel free to follow me on Instagram if you want to, at Matt Loberstein, so you can see me do not a whole lot right now other than sit at home. And yeah, take care of yourself, stay healthy, and see you soon.